Stories of hacking and encryption of data have been circulating around the world, and now it's becoming big business.
Yeah, hackers will encrypt files of countries, companies, and even regular citizens to hold them until a ransom is paid. To tell us more about ransomware, we're joined by our friend Stan Prager from GoGeeks in East Longmeadow. Thank you for being here, as always.
Thank you for having me. So what the exciting news in this, we've talked about ransomware in the past, but what's exciting is that a recent study has shown that it's slated to become a $1 billion business this year. So far, the first 3 months of the year, over $210 million has come in to hackers. And that's just what's been reported. Most people actually really believe that the numbers are significantly higher than that, because a lot of people don't want to admit that they paid a hacker. You know, we've had several businesses who have paid, and they don't want anyone to know this, obviously.
It's been hospitals, police departments.
Big companies.
A hospital in California, in Hollywood, paid 40 Bitcoin, which is an internet currency, which equals approximately $17,000.
For one Bitcoin?
No, 40 Bitcoins is 17,000, but they paid because there was a number of computers on their system. There was a South Carolina school system that paid $10,000. A lot of people have backups set up, but the backups are on their network. So if they get the encryption on their system, it'll encrypt their backups as well. We've had 2 police departments in Massachusetts pay. Not that much money, but they've paid.
And you think law enforcement, if anyone, would be immune to these sort of ransomware programs, but no, clearly everyone can be a victim. How does it work?
Okay, everyone's at risk, yes. So how it works essentially is primarily it comes in from opening an unknown attachment. And usually the attachment is presented in your email as something very important, like, Brittany, a package is lost, something like that, right? And if you do use FedEx or UPS, that's a really good way to kind of trick you into it. There's all kinds of other ways as well. It can also come in from visiting a bad website or clicking on a bad link, but attachments seem to be the primary way they deliver it. It delivers an encryption code into your system. You open that attachment, there's nothing there. You don't think anything about it, you're busy, you go on with your life. In the next 24 to 48 hours, all of your files on your system, all of your documents, pictures, music, everything will become encrypted so that you cannot open it.
Wow.
And at that point, a message will show up on your screen saying you have so many hours. If you want these files unencrypted, you need to pay us.
Isn't this kind of giving in, though? Isn't this why it's growing so much, or it's expanding so much, because we're giving into this? We're actually paying the ransomware. Of course, that's what they want, or the
Absolutely.
ransom.
The problem is that these cyber criminals are primarily located in Russia or the former Soviet republics. We have no jurisdiction. Their law enforcement doesn't cooperate with ours. In fact, in the Ukraine, it's not even illegal to hack outside of Ukraine. Believe it or not, they don't. Their law allows that. So it's very difficult for us to go after these people. They usually, if you pay, they usually encrypt your, de-encrypt your files. Usually. And, the caution is always, there's no guarantee. There isn't any guarantee, but obviously if word gets around that they're not giving you your files back, less people are likely to do it. So for the most part, they are giving people their access to their files again. You have to go out and get this internet currency called Bitcoin, which is completely untraceable. Essentially, it's like
cash.
So
How do you do that? Do they give you
Yeah.
directions on how to get a Bitcoin?
We don't have a long enough segment to talk about that. Maybe another show.
Gotcha.
But a guy I work with had to meet somebody else at the mall in Manchester and purchase the Bitcoin with cash. It's completely anonymous and confidential.
Sounds sketchy.
It's quite a network.
It is sketchy, but we use this on the internet. It's just like cash, but with bills with no serial numbers. And then once they receive the money, they send you download a program which will decrypt it with a code.
All right, now we've been talking about reactiveness. How about being proactive? What can we do to avoid getting caught in this scam?
Okay, so the most important thing is obviously having good antivirus software on your system, although that's no guarantee that this won't hit you. The second thing is be careful, what you open. Attachments, if you don't know who the attachment's from, if you're not 100% certain, don't open it. But most importantly, the answer for everyone is to back up your files. And don't leave your backup plugged into your computer. Disconnect your external backup or back up to the cloud or something where the files exist separate from
Even if you have a backup, though, I feel like you don't want to get this information out, right? Especially hospitals or patients, or you don't want them to have the information. So even if you have a backup.
Well, what they do is if you disconnect the backup from the network, like after they backed up their system, if they physically disconnect it, if the encryption gets on their network, it'll encrypt everything that's on there, but they'll have a complete clean backup. We can erase their computer and then reload that stuff again. So that's your way out. Most people, as we know, don't have good backups, right? That's generally the case
Or
for
a
everybody.
backup at all.
Or any backup, right? Or know what to do with it. But
Guilty.
The reason why the 2 police departments in Massachusetts had to pay is because they were running backups, but their backups were on a continuous mode. So in other words, they were plugged into the network.
And continually
the
backing up.
encryption virus got on there. It encrypted their backups as well.
All right, Stan. Very interesting as
Scary
always.
stuff.
It is scary. It
Dr.
really
Doom,
is.
sorry.
I know, but it makes you think. It makes you think, and it helps us to be more cautious.
Thanks,
I
Stan.
appreciate you being